The average UK retirement age is now 65 years old, and even then, for many people, retiring at this age, it's not really financially possible. And on top of that, do you really want to wait until retirement to actually start living life without any constraints? What I'm going to talk to you about today isn't going to have you quitting your job next week or retiring the week after, but it is going to teach you a number of different methods that you can implement to start creating more financial security, more income, and actually start to take the actions you need in order to improve life for future you. The goal with this is to move towards being able to buy your first boring vanilla buy-to-let property, which starts to provide you with rental income and secure equity with an asset that increases over time. The stuff that I'm going to talk about could see you with a very different life this time next year. I started property investing at a young age, so I've got a head start relatively early, but I also stumbled along quite dramatically for the first few years, not having a fucking clue what I was doing. I also started with very little money, and it's often a misconception that you need tens or hundreds of thousands before you can start investing in property. Now look, you do need some money, but I'm going to teach you the strategies today that mean you don't need as much as you think you need in order to get into property. This is something I am constantly telling my team about here at Aspire as well, and we're constantly refreshing our investment knowledge, as whether you're in a job or own a company, creating security for future you is something everyone should be doing. I also thought to myself, if I'm making this video for you guys, I might as well test my team out as well to see their investment and buy-to-let knowledge. So let's deep dive into the core strategies that are going to get you that first buy-to-let and the pros and cons and the process in between. Let's get started with one of the most popular strategies, joint ventures or JVs. This is where you partner with somebody who can bring either capital or expertise to the table so that you can get your property investment started without going in alone. So a joint venture partner or JV partner is somebody who brings the capital to the table typically. This could be friend, family member, or a professional investor. And the upside of this is less upfront cash required and shared risk. Often the person that puts the cash up puts 100% and takes 100% of the risk and shares the profit. The downside for you is you're sharing the profit, and often there's potential disagreements. And so it's really important at the beginning that you have crystal clear line in the sands, where do your responsibilities start and stop and where do theirs start and stop. So here's the step-by-step. Find a reliable partner, agree percentage splits, draft the legal agreements, also known as the heads of terms, send those heads of terms to a solicitor, and then purchase the property. Now here's my take. JVs are ideal if it's your first handful of buy-to-lets and you want to leverage somebody else's capital smartly. Earlier, I actually asked the team, Dan, my business partner, what's the one thing you should check on before teaming up on a property? Dan, what is one thing you should look for in a joint venture partner?
Date them before you get married. So you need to try doing some work with them first before you then go, do you know what, we're going to, let's say, start a company together. If you needed a trade, it'd be trust.
Date before you marry. Good advice all round. I think Dan's making some really valid points there. You know, you're going to date somebody. If you saw a beautiful girl or a beautiful guy in the pub and you're thinking, like what I'm seeing, I'm going to go chat with them, you wouldn't walk up and go, hey, will you marry me? That's a bit weird, all right? At least you're going to go in with your cheesiest chat-up line. Let me know in the comments what's your best chat-up line, by the way. I have none because I'm useless. But the point is that Dan is saying correctly is some people jump into joint ventures without actually getting to know the person correctly, and you can do a little bit of deals together without going all in. Next, we've got buy-to-let mortgages, the traditional route using a mortgage specifically designed for rental property, where typically, in most situations, you're going to put in a 25% deposit. This allows you to leverage other people's money to start building a portfolio. The upsides of this is obviously you're spreading payments out, leveraging your capital, you're getting more bang for your buck. The downside of this, you need a plan for the mortgage payments. If the property's vacant, you're still going to have that cost going out. So you need to save up the deposit still. It's not 0% down or anything like that. The step-by-step of this is arrange the mortgage, consider getting an agreement in principle or a decision in principle, an AIP or a DIP. Get the deposit together, make sure that the property stacks, and you need to make sure there's something called rental coverage, i.e. is the rent covering the mortgage payment, and it needs to typically be 25% as a minimum above what the mortgage payment's going to be. Find the property, do the calculations, make sure it cash flows, and invest in the property. Top tip on that, make sure it is in a strong capital growth area. Now, my take on this is it's my go-to for long-term cash flow. So I own over 100 buy-to-let properties, all houses, all freeholds, and every single one I have on 75% loan to value. That's not financial advice, it's what I'm doing, and it's made me millions. Let's hear what they think of the main benefit of a buy-to-let mortgage is. Why should somebody start their investment journey with a buy-to-let mortgage?
Because it will enable them to release equity and get on the property market with more properties.
Leverage, baby. We'll go for it. Let's go into option number 3, bridging. So bridging is short-term finance to secure a property quickly, then typically we'll bridge to let, so you might refinance onto a mortgage. And once the rental income is established, you've got that long-term cash flow. The upside of this is fast acquisition, flexible funding, and it means that you can secure some really good deals, but you have to move fast. The downsides of this are higher interest rate, fees, and of course, if you get stuck on a bridge, it can become really risky, so you have to plan your exit carefully. The step-by-step of this is source a bridging lender, purchase the property, refurbish it as fast as possible, and refinance. And you need to make sure you get your numbers right, because as I said, if you get stuck, it could be really costly. Now, my take on this is it's great for urgent deals where speed is absolutely essential. I'll give you an example. We had a really great deal in Leeds City Centre where we were buying a block of apartments for 1.4 million and we needed to complete within like 14 days. That was not going to happen with mortgage. I didn't really want to deploy over £1 million in cash, so I got bridging on it and then immediately refinanced it. So let's jump to the team and see what they think of bridging. That's one reason somebody should use bridging finance.
If they're doing a large refurb and they're gonna refinance afterwards.
Love that. The next is cash. You can buy it outright with available funds. Now, some people have to do this due to religious reasons and lending requirements. The upsides are it's quick, it's simple, there's no interest. Like, it's really like property in general is quite a forgiving investment class anyway. If you buy it in cash, it's even more forgiving. The downsides are massive capital requirements. You know, you're not buying a packet of crisps down the shop, right? You are buying a property that is often going to be in excess of £100,000. That is a lot to deploy in a single asset. On top of that, there's no leverage. And for me, one of the biggest benefits in property is leverage with capital growth. And so for me, personally, I think it is worth taking on the risk, but that is down to you. Step by step of this, source the property, get the analysis right, negotiate effectively, offer on the property, instruct the solicitor, conveyancing, exchange, and of course, complete. And you could do that a lot quickly with the right property. Now, my take on this is cash works for deals that have really high demand where speed wins. So for me, it's not always about getting a really good discount on the property because for me, it's all about the longevity of the deal. But there are some areas where properties just get snapped up and being able to move really quickly on the deal is everything we need to do the deal. So speed is absolutely critical. Now remember, at Aspire Education, we can help you on how to actually calculate cash flow, how to structure the deals, how to choose the right strategy, how to find joint venture partners, bridging, loan agreements, and everything in between. So if you want to have a chat with us about investing in your education so that you can make 2026 your best year yet, comment education, I'll send you a link and we're going to open up some free one-to-one strategy sessions with me or the team. So click the link below or put education in, I'll send you the link, fill in your details and book in your call. Now the fifth and final option is deal packaging. So this is one of the most powerful and accessible ways to get started in property, especially if you don't yet have a big pot of capital. And last year, we booked around £5 million worth of fees in our deal packaging business, which is kind of crazy saying that out loud. So essentially what deal packaging is we're finding amazing investment opportunities for our investors. We then package them up and present them to our investors, and we do a hands-free service. So we'll partner with the right people in the right area to make it hands-free for our investors. It is an amazing investment opportunity for them, and they can do what they do best, which is make money in their jobs, often accountants, doctors, dentists, business owners, and the like. Now, the upside of this is very low startup costs, and you can make a huge amount of money. It builds up your experience incredibly fast and builds amazing investor relationships, which for you is really good, because if you're looking to build your own portfolio, number one, you can use the cash from deal packaging, but number two, you're building relationships with people with money that can loan or joint venture with you on the deals that you want to do. The downsides of this is, number one, income can fluctuate, especially at the beginning of your journey. It requires consistency, and that's really important. You can't just turn up and do 100 hours one week and you've got results. You need to turn up 10 hours a week every single week. And often what I say is, if you did 10 to 15 hours a week for an entire year and you did the right things in the right order at the right time, it's very realistic to be hitting £10,000 months. But most people don't, because they're either educated the wrong way or they don't actually execute. The final thing I will say about deal packaging is compliance. You absolutely need your property ombudsman, your anti-money laundering, your data protection, the basic compliance, which I've done videos on the channel. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, dig in, find the videos. I share everything on here. Step by step, register as a compliant deal sourcing agent. Number two, learn how to actually analyze deals. Start building your investor list, secure your first investor and get the criteria, and then go hunting for your first deal. Now, my take is this is exactly what I did to start in property. I used the income from my early sourcing and packaging fees, where I was making £3,000 to £5,000 per property in the early days, to build up my first buy-to-let deposit. And then I realized that every deal I closed was one step closer to owning assets myself. So my entire strategy has been since to package 5 deals and use the money to buy the 6th. So I package 5, buy the 6th, package 5, buy the 6th. And by reinvesting your sourcing profits into your own portfolio, for me, is a really smart move that you can make, and it bridges the gap between being a deal sourcer, deal packager, and becoming a property owner, giving you both the cash flow and long-term equity. And by the way, again, if you are in a situation where maybe you don't have tens of thousands of pounds to get started in property, but you know where you're at is just not enough, you really want to push to the next level, and there's a knowledge and implementation and action gap that will help you, and you need your hand held all the way through, you can put education in the comments. I'll put a link below. Absolutely free. You can put them down. I'll send you a link. You can book in your free one-to-one call. And on that call, we'll help you with a roadmap from where you're at to where you want to get to. And if we can help and support you do it, that's brilliant. So let me show you how to actually apply finance in a practical sense on a real deal that I have purchased. And this is one of my buy-to-let deals. This one started out as bridging finance, which we used to secure the property quickly and get the refurbishment done before moving it across onto a standard buy-to-let mortgage. So we bought this property in Leeds in May 2021 for £107,500. What we then did is a load of works to it. We put £19,000 into the refurbishment, and then we refinanced onto a buy-to-let mortgage. So a lot of risks involved, but we took the punt. So this property has a steady rental income of about £800 a month, plus the capital growth, £40,000 in just a few years. It's not bad for your Yorkshire buy-to-let. Started life on a bridging finance. And this is why I like showing you real examples. So when you run the numbers properly, you can see how everything works together. So different strategies can all work. But in my opinion, starting with deal packaging and reinvesting the fees into my portfolio really works well. But the key is matching the method to where you're at right now, and then start to build momentum over time. It's less about finding the one perfect deal and more about stacking sensible decisions that actually add up. And that's how you create real wealth in property. Property is not get rich quick, it's a get rich for sure strategy. And where people fuck up is because they're trying to be greedy, looking at these gurus telling you they're gonna quit your job in 30 days, and you're just not. So how do you actually get started? Well, here's a simple roadmap to success. Number one, set your budget and strategy. Know your cash and your risk appetite. Number two, decide your method of scaling. Is it joint ventures, mortgage, bridging, loans, cash, or of course, deal packaging? Number 3, find the right property, check the rental demand, the growth, the potential, the location, the crime rates, the schools. Next, we're going to run the numbers. What's the cash flow, the equity, the cost, the ROI, and the combined returns of the cash in and the capital growth, and then execute and manage. We're going to purchase, refurb if needed, rent it out, and monitor the performance. So last question to the team. I asked them why they think people should be buying more properties, specifically buy-to-lets. Chloe, what is the one reason somebody should invest in a buy-to-let property?
Because you'll get to speak to me.
All right, we're going to have to go to Claire then. Claire, give me 3 reasons why you should invest in buy-to-let properties.
Passive income, capital growth, and we will do it all for you.
As you can tell, my team love being put on the spot. I've got to say, they know their stuff. They're a great team. They're spot on about the opportunities. And with buy-to-lets, you can build long-term cash flow, compound equity, create financial freedom passively. And I think that's really big from Claire, is that actually, yes, it's great getting all these results, but you can do a lot of it hands-free. And knowing where to start smartly and manage the property effectively is just as important as chasing the reward. And that's exactly what we teach through Aspire Education, where we give you the tools, the knowledge, the hand-holding, the confidence to make these smart moves. So that's a wrap. The main ways of buying a buy-to-let, the pros and the cons, and an example of a real property of how you can execute smartly. And we've done over 1,000 of these for ourselves and our investors. And remember, the method that you choose to implement depends on your capital, your timeline, and your goal. And this is the challenge with doing a video, is I hope it applies to you, but the reality is the solution to your challenge is personalized and individual to you. So if you want to have a chat with me or the team about that situation and what strategy is going to be right for you, we have a 3-stemmed approach. It should always incorporate deal packaging. It should always incorporate building your portfolio and other people's money. If you want a strategy call to give you that personalized roadmap, put education in the comments. I'll send you a link and you can book in one of our free one-to-one strategy sessions. And once spaces are gone, they are gone. There's only myself and one other team member doing this. So if you did get value, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.